Welcome to the Gal's Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where a group of gals gather for you one cool thing around our topic of the month. Is it ancient history? Is it breaking news? Is it safe for work? Well, that's up to each gal. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Katie, and I'm joined by Bonnie and Leah talking about our one cool inspirational gal. Bonnie already told us about Ada Lovelace, but before we dive back in, Leah is going to tell us about what's on Gal's Guide calendar for this week.
I am. So for week 3, the week of January 23rd through the 29th, on Wednesdays, we write. So join us at the Gals Guide Library on Wednesday at 4:30 for your time to sit and write and connect with other writers. On January 26th, Book Club is meeting, and we're going to be talking about the purpose of power.
The power of purpose.
But I think it's actually the purpose of power. It is it's the purpose of power. Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
There
I was like, you wrote it right here.
I wrote it
You wrote it in
wrong.
the script.
I did. The script is
Well,
totally
good thing
wrong.
we meet in a library that's displaying all the copies we
I know,
have
right?
of this month's book club book.
Exactly. It's an amazing book. So it's by Alicia Garza, and Alicia is one of the co-founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. And her book is an essential guide in building movements that address the challenges of our time. And I'm so excited
We're
to read
laying out
this.
a blueprint.
I love this. So book club meets on Zoom. So register at bookclub.org. Register for book club at galsguide.org. Woohoo! I love beer. Okay, so we're going to be starting a new club on January 29th, and it is Tara Circle. So this online Sangha means community, focuses on the sacred feminine side of Buddhism, and everyone is welcome. So it'll be on Tara days to add to that kind of auspiciousness. So register so you get the Zoom link and check out all of our calendar events on galsguide.org.
What time is the Terra Circle going to be?
It's going to be at 10 a.m. online.
Okay, I thought.
Yep,
I
exactly.
thought so. I was just thinking, like, we have all these clubs now. It makes me think of high school when you could like, get out of the class for a minute because you had a club meeting.
I got a club meeting.
So
I've
maybe
got to
I
go.
should just tell work, like, I'm going to have to step out at 10
Yes,
a.m.
I think so.
So I can go to my
I got a
club
club
meeting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
No, it's where all the
feel
cool
free,
kids are going to
everyone,
be.
to try to use it at your work.
Yes, I think so. I think it's a pass. And then you just say, it's a Gals Guide Club. You wouldn't understand.
I need this. I need this to get through my day.
Perfect. Yes, exactly.
Well, before I introduce my inspirational gal, I have a
Yes.
question for you all.
Okay.
And I feel like it's good for this time of year. Because, I mean, I don't know. Maybe some people are strong and they're not. I don't know. I think everybody reflects on the year past and the year start. Like their
closure, new
and,
start. Yeah.
Their goals. Although I saw a lot of cool stuff this year about, this year, be who you are, not change who you are.
Right.
However, there's nothing wrong with saying, I have some goals for this year, and this is how I'm going to kick ass.
I want to be a better person in this particular area.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Mm-hmm. So I want to know, what advice would you give somebody starting out, just in any field, any situation, just starting out, doing something that inspires them? What advice do you have?
Gotcha. Do you want me to go first? Because I do have my go-to advice.
I have one.
Oh, go for it. Yes, yes.
It's for someone starting out, like doing like artwork, or I've been looking into doing like YouTube stuff. It's just to just do it.
Yes.
Like just get going. Like don't worry about like, oh, it might not be good, or like the more you do it, the better you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So, if you start earlier rather than having anxiety about like worrying about it and maybe it not being good, just do it.
Yes.
Don't
Yes, Shia LaBeouf.
Get started.
Yes.
Like if
Don't you love those photos online? Sorry, Bonnie. Of the art where people have like, this is me 4 years ago, what I drew, and this is me today, and seeing like what they've learned and taught themselves and their progression. I love those.
it goes fast.
The more you do, the more you get confident in it, and you get, closer to what your vision is.
Forget what it is. Is there someone said that like it takes like 1,000 hours of doing
10,000
it?
hours.
Yeah.
Malcolm Gladwell. I love Malcolm Gladwell. He wrote a book about what the dog saw. Yeah.
Was it another dog's butt?
I don't know. I didn't finish all of it, but there's another one about 10,000 hours, and that one I did read. For me, my advice is, and it comes from like personal experience of don't worry what other people are thinking of you, because odds are nobody is thinking about you in the sense of, what if I try this and fail? You know what I mean? What if I disappoint people, or what if people don't like the new me? Most people are so busy working their own crap. They're not thinking about you. So if you are being held back by the opinion of others that are not in your circle, don't, because it's not even worth that like rent space in your head, because just do the thing. Like Bonnie was saying. That would be mine. What would be yours, Katie?
I think I would say find people that are excited about the things you're excited about.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I tend to be like, I want to be at home. I'm not real people-y all the time.
Right, yeah.
So now that we have the internet too, that can be somebody online that inspires you. Somebody that has a YouTube video like Bonnie is working on, or somebody that's, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know how to cook when I went away to college. We didn't cook that much at my house growing up. So the Food Network became my resource and go-to to learn and absorb all of that. So, you know, find your space, find your people, and get excited about what you want to do.
I would say that definitely circles back to how this library exists, because I had the idea. First, I went to you, Katie, and I said, is this idea crazy? I think you said it wasn't crazy, but I still felt like it was crazy.
No.
But you were like, do it.
Yeah.
And then I went to Bonnie. Bonnie was the second person I told about this. And I think Bonnie did say, yeah, it is kind of crazy, but let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, there you go. Okay, Bonnie was like, no, totally do it. So it was that idea, just that idea. And it was having that circle of support that is just like, wow, let's just try this. And oh my gosh, we're sitting in a library with like 5,500 books.
It's beautiful.
Right?
I'm just cracking up how Katie's like, you know, I like surround yourself with people. I like to be at home.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly.
Away from people.
There's ways to surround yourself with people without surrounding yourself. That's why book club is still on Zoom.
Right, exactly.
I love all you all over Zoom. I love you guys in person too. I just don't love leaving.
Zoom is much better. It's easier to love you on Zoom.
Pajama. I'm wearing my pajamas right now. Just
Queen,
so
do it.
Everybody knows that out there. We had people over on New Year's Eve and our theme was pajama party.
Nice.
Yes.
And they had to come to me. I'm kind of selfish like that.
That is perfect. I mean, look, if you're going to people.
If you're gonna
surround yourself with people you like. Those people may be your dogs.
Yes, exactly. Yes, never underestimate the power of the people being your dogs.
They will give you positive feedback and reinforcement.
Especially if there's bacon or treats of some kind.
My dogs this week have been working on learning shake, but for some reason I call it paw.
Oh, okay.
And now they know
Just
the
to
word
mix it up.
trainings. I'm like, do you want to do your trainings? Like,
Trainings
we're going to go
mean
do special
food.
homework. And yeah, I've been finding a lot of joy in that. So find your joy and inspiration, everyone.
I like it. Absolutely.
So,
well, who do you have for us? Oh my gosh, I'm so
a
excited.
very, very amazing, famous legend.
Legendary.
Yes, we're going to be talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yay, we're going to talk about my cat.
Yes, exactly. Your
Sorry,
cat.
she's Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, nice. Small distinction.
Exactly. But an homage and an inspiration.
Absolutely.
Yes. Sweet. I love her.
Do you guys have any RBG like gear, shirts, jewelry? Like, I want to hear about it.
I have Bonnie's artwork of RBG with the collar, the when they are 9, and the what is it? The ladies need to be in situations where decisions are being made. Is it that one?
The one I have is fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that'll lead others to join you.
Yes.
With her dissent collar. And then I've got the other one that just says when there are 9.
Yeah.
Okay, we need that
I have
in
both,
the
and they're
show
badass.
art too,
Yes.
or the show notes.
Yes, the show notes. Yes,
Get
on
that
it.
in there too. All
Yes.
Bonnie art.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
'Cause it's
also
gorgeous.
available as stickers and prints and postcards.
So get yours.
Exactly.
So I have some Bonnie postcards.
Yep.
I also have the dissent collar earrings, like they're studs.
Oh yes,
I don't get to wear them very
nice.
often because my ears get weird with earrings, but
Gotcha.
I love them.
Yes.
I love them. It was just like the most fun, most inspiring kind of, I don't know, I don't want to call it a movement, but like just everybody embracing how she became the dissenter on the court and was speaking for the people in their right minds.
Right.
And
In
care
her
about others.
90s.
And right?
This little tiny Jewish woman.
She's so tiny.
She is pocket sized. Yeah.
Pint size.
She's adorable.
So cute. Actually, to prepare for this, I watched for the second time the RBG documentary called RBG.
It's a great documentary. Do you recommend it?
Oh, highly.
Yeah.
Yes. I was going to say, like, it's worth it just to get a feel for who she is and her personality.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to watch on repeat her laughing at the portrayal of herself on SNL.
Yeah.
Like Kate McKinnon. Like her little giggles about it. And she
has a great sense of humor.
She does.
And she can see beyond herself. You know what I mean? But then it's hilarious.
No, she's so funny. I think in the documentary, even some of her co-workers, associates, people were saying that she even sent them the notorious RBG t-shirts.
Yes.
There shows that the one guy, I can't remember who he is now, and he's in it, but yeah, no, and then, so one thing through reading about her and watching that movie is I'm just a low energy person, I think, because she is exhausting.
She is.
They talk about her burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
Like in the documentary, you get to see her working so hard, all the things she's engaged in, her love for the opera, that she's working out. You know, many people that have worked with her and her family talk about how she'll work until 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like she ran on like 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night, and I'm like so jealous. I'm like, I got so much shit I want to do. But I need the sleep.
Yeah. Mike Myers has that same thing too. He doesn't sleep many hours when he's working on a project. He'll just sleep for a couple hours and then get right back to that. And I'm like, I'm kind of jealous of it too. But at the same time, it's like, but I do love my sleep.
I took a nap this afternoon. So
that's the dream.
I also worked at No Label this morning. So I was just like,
so you were up super early. Yeah.
Old body's not used to standing and baking for all this. But no, she's an inspiration. And just, what was it in the video where her trainer talks about how she's a cyborg, and by that he means like she's just like
a machine.
She just
yeah, it's
amazing.
amazing.
Tap into just a tiny bit of that.
I know, right? To have a fraction of that.
People talk about how like you want some of kids or toddlers' energy. I just want some of Ruth's energy.
Yes, yeah, Ruth's energy at 90. Just a little bit of that.
I loved her friends talking about how like we can't even get up off the floor or get down there, and you see her doing her push-ups in it. Yes. I also loved when there's a little clip in the film, her talking about the notorious RBG.
Yeah.
And how she's aware that it's reference to the notorious BIG.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, people ask, is that weird for you? And she's like, well, no, of course not. We actually have a lot in common.
Yes.
And gets the laughs. It's awesome. She said we both were born and grew up in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn always gets a lot of shout outs too. When she says that, it's like, wait a minute, they're both from Brooklyn.
Yep. But she was born in 1933 in Brooklyn. Her family, she's very close to her mom. So she had an older sister, but her older sister died when she was just a baby, like when Ruth was a baby. But her older sister had given her a nickname when she was in Mommy's tummy that was like Kiki, I think. So she went by that for a long time, growing up and in her youth. But yeah, her mom was just this very smart lady that wasn't able to continue her education like she wanted to. So she was one of those moms that's like, I want that for my daughter.
Yeah,
if she wants that, I want that for my daughter. In RBG, they talk about, she says her mom's advice to her, she told her 2 things. She said, number 1, be a lady. And by that she meant was, don't react with anger. Don't waste your time, with that kind of fury, but find a way to
persuade.
Yeah, like remain cool and detached. Probably because we've talked about it here on the show before. Like people want to say women are emotional.
Yeah.
So we have to take a step back and we have to be that cool, analytical, I'm going to top you with my intelligence because you're not going to respond to my rage, which is entirely justified.
Right. Exactly.
But she said, be a lady. And she said, number 2 was be independent.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So that was very cool.
Brilliant advice.
And, I don't know. Did you know that? Well, you guys watched documentaries. So you know that when Ruth, her mom, battled cancer while Ruth was in high school and died the day before Ruth's high school graduation.
That's just tragic, right?
I know.
So close to, that education. And I mean, it's high school. It would have been different. It was college and a master's and stuff like that. But still, the high school. And I mean, can you think of like when you're high school, when you're graduating, like if one of your parents died, it's like, no. Yeah.
But she certainly did her mom proud.
Absolutely.
Above and beyond.
100%.
So after graduating, she went to Cornell University. For
You know, that
undergraduate.
small lawyer
right?
school.
I think Andy Bernard went there.
What?
I think Andy Bernard went there.
Oh.
This is a Cornell man from The Office.
Oh, look at that.
Well,
Nice.
I went to
He
Cornell.
was in the
I went to
acapella group. While she was
Sweet.
there, she met her future husband, Martin Ginsburg.
Marty.
And he's featured in RBG and is just adorable. Their relationship is so sweet. He was like the jokey, outgoing one, and she was the more reserved, quiet of the two, but loved his humor.
So
And,
funny.
They're so sweet together.
Mhm.
And I want to say, talking about the energy and not running on any sleep, after she did get her undergraduate, they got married and they had 2 children.
Mhm.
So then when she went on to pursue her law degree,
Yeah.
she was taking care of her 2 children. And also at that time, Martin was battling cancer.
Yeah.
So she was taking care of
2
her
young
children,
babies.
her husband with cancer, and doing her schooling.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot all at once.
Right.
That's probably where she started lacking sleep.
Yeah.
Right. However, during that time, not only did she go to law school, she excelled at law school.
Yes.
Top of her class. She was the first person to be on both the Harvard and the Columbia Law Reviews.
Yes.
So those are the student-run journals.
And they're both super, super hard, and girls on both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First person to be on both, male or female.
Yeah.
So it was super cool. But through all of this, you think somebody would just be cheering and be like, oh, wow, she's such a badass. She's doing amazing. No, because she was,
she was
the
a
first
lady.
of her kind. She was a lady.
Yeah.
They didn't have these spots for women. They didn't want women in these spots. And she faced a lot of sexism in her life.
Yeah.
She said at one point, I think that the story was related when she was embracing the Me Too movement. But she said that one of her professors at, I think it was Harvard, one of her professors offered to give her the answers to a test in exchange for sex.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she said.
First of all, like she needed it. Second of
Right.
all, ew.
Wow.
My goodness.
She doesn't say which, if this is undergrad or her law school.
Okay.
I don't see the context for that. But apparently she went to his office and, said, how dare you do this? Just gave him an
Right.
earful. So, and that was the end of it, she said.
Oh, there you go. Sweet.
I think there was one of, she went somewhere, she was in school and they were, something about, defend why, you should be here instead of a man.
Yes.
Something like that.
Dean.
Why are you taking this seat that could be for a man? That was at Harvard.
Yeah.
Or not Harvard. That was at Cornell, I think.
Yeah. It was
She went to
early
all
on.
these prestigious
I know, right?
universities,
Exactly.
one of these fancy.
It was one of her,
Ivy Leagues.
first couple of weeks of school, and it was, they had first let ladies in, and now it's prove why you need to be here other than a dude. And I'm like, oh.
So I could be wrong, but I don't think she started her career thinking, she would become this door opener, this glass ceiling smasher.
Right, yeah.
But just her own personal experiences, she's like, this isn't right. And she had an aptitude for the law and a passion for it. And she saw that as her avenue to pursue change for women.
Yeah.
They needed legal protections to prevent these things from happening to them.
Yeah.
So after she graduated with her law degree and was looking for somewhere to work, guess what? Nobody was hiring women.
Right. Weird, huh? Yeah.
Right. Even though she's this genius badass with all
Top
these,
of her class.
Yes.
No
one would hire her.
Yeah.
So she became the second law professor ever at Rutgers.
Nice. Also a good school. Yeah.
Right? Right? While she was there, I didn't realize this, but she also had to fight the university for equal pay.
Yeah.
While she was there. It was, I hadn't heard that part of it. Yeah, but when the Equal Pay Act was passed, they took suit against Rutgers to get the same pay as
their male counterparts.
Yeah, I highlighted the quote. She said she went to the dean to ask, why am I not being paid equally?
Yeah.
And the dean said, Ruth, she said, as compared to her coworker.
Yes.
And he said, Ruth, he has a wife and 2 children to support. You have a husband and a good paying job with a good paying job in New York.
Yeah, there
You
it
don't
is.
need it. You got a husband to take care of you.
Right, exactly.
It's not
But
about
you're
need it.
doing the same work.
You deserve it. You earned it.
Yeah.
It's yours. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So while she was at Rutgers, she also had her students encouraging and requesting this the study of women in law from her.
Yeah.
So she started teaching a seminar and then co-founded the first law journal on women's rights called the Women's Right Law Reporter.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it is still being published at Rutgers Law School.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
Yep.
Well, it's got a good start to it. You know, I mean, if RBG started it, then keep it going.
She did move on to teach at Columbia, and she became the first tenured female law professor at Columbia.
Sweet.
Her daughter actually eventually worked at Columbia.
Oh.
So they were probably one of the only mother-daughters to, be law professors at a university.
I love her kids, too, by the way. They're in the documentary. Oh, my God, they're adorable.
And her granddaughter was super sweet, too.
Yes.
And so while she's doing all of these things, she also co-founded the Women's Rights Project at the ACLU.
Yes.
And it was through then that she was able to, she was, I want to say volunteer, but she worked like pro bono for them.
Yes, because the ACLU, you don't get paid for the work that you do, but it's really important work. And it's usually people who can't pay a lawyer but have a really big important case. Yeah.
Absolutely. So during that time, she took up the mantle of litigating gender inequality cases, and her strategy was to do measured, conservative baby steps, tackling one law at a time.
Yeah.
She thought
So
radical
smart.
change would be
too much.
Right.
And it would be fought down and crushed right away.
After her first case she fought against the Supreme Court, she just saw that they weren't engaged with her. They weren't listening. They weren't open to it yet.
Yeah.
So another really cool strategy was she took on a lot of cases that were actually for men.
I love
that were
that
being
strategy.
discriminated by the law.
And it was,
Super
if this
smart.
is ridiculous to discriminate against this man, it's also just as ridiculous when it happens to a woman. And it was, the cases were so interesting that happened to men.
And they're all, I mean, not detailed, like very specific, but they're all mentioned and talked about in the RBG documentary.
Yes.
So if you want like a little rundown of that. So she argued 6 cases against the Supreme Court and won 5.
Sweet.
Isn't that awesome?
It's pretty good odds. I mean,
Right?
Supreme Court cases are the difficults.
And that's just her working for the ACLU.
Yeah.
That's not even talking about the cases and the impact she's had in law as a Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
Definitely watch the movie so you can understand the full impact she's had on the rights we all, I don't want to say take for granted, but we don't always double think them.
Right.
Not
yeah.
that women aren't still facing sexism and discrimination in workplaces and stuff like that. But I think we don't think, what recourse do we have, because we know the law is there.
Right.
Granted, we can't all take up a lawsuit when something's happened.
Right.
There's limitations, but it feels good to know there is that.
Yeah. The world is definitely a little bit better because RBG fought for women, as best as possible.
She was the first female Jewish Supreme Court justice.
Woohoo!
The second female justice. She was appointed in 1980 to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. And then it was Bill Clinton that appointed her to the Supreme Court in 1993.
Yes.
So, and I loved all the clips from her. What do they call that? The appointment interviews, in front of Congress. Yeah.
The big press junket you got to do.
Right. And then this is a great quote for her too. And Bonnie used it in her arts. I'm sometimes asked when there will be enough women on the Supreme Court. And when I say when there are 9, people are shocked. But there'd been 9 men and nobody ever raised a question about that.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
So when there are 9. I dig it.
I'm not going to get into all of her impassioned dissents.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all can visualize in our mind her little dissent caller and all of that. But definitely check it out on the RBG documentary. Just randomly sharing some trivia because I didn't know this one.
Yeah.
She was the first justice to officiate a same-sex marriage.
Oh, nice.
Yes, at the Kennedy Center. She married Michael M. Kaiser to economist. Words are so hard. I'll send John Roberts.
Oh, gotcha. Yay.
Yes. I already told you about how they were the first mother-daughter to teach on the same faculty together.
Right. Awesome.
And as you all know, she's the only Supreme Court justice to become a pop culture icon.
I know, right? I mean, you could tell Scalia was trying. No, I'm just kidding. No, Scalia was an ass.
You know, I had mixed feelings on the detailing of their friendship and that RBG thing.
Right.
I was like, I guess that's cool.
I think she either humored him or didn't fight with him. And so because she didn't fight with him and everybody else did because he was kind of ridiculous and in quite a few things, that it's like, well, they must be best of friends. And it's like, no, she's just not playing his game.
Sweet lady. I mean, she's fiery too, but she's probably just like, and like they're coworkers. You have to have even. I would struggle.
You're stuck with this position
arguing
till you're
law
dead.
And all of that against people with radically different views than me. I would be like, oof. Probably have blood pressure problems within the first week.
Right.
But I think she was just very legally coolly minded and realized, like, you know,
of what's the law. How do you prove the law? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
exactly. Just like
it's a badass.
She has the definition of what a hot dog is, doesn't she, Bonnie?
Yes, I pulled it up.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Yes. Okay, all right, good.
That was how I was going to end, because this has been a question here on this show.
It is. It's been a revolving question. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is the question.
In 2018, on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
The Supreme Justice of our times ruled that a hot dog is indeed a sandwich.
By Stephen Colbert's definition of what a sandwich is.
Yeah,
and he said a piece of meat between two bread-like substances. And she said, well, then by your definition of a sandwich, a hot dog is a sandwich. Bonnie, are you okay with this?
It's very exciting. I'm going to have to make like a little sticker or something.
It's been
a hot dog is now a sandwich.
Our RBG approved.
RBG approved. Hot dog is a sandwich. It is funny, the things that circle back around on the Gals Guide podcast, and that does tend to be one of them.
On that note, are you guys ready for me to close it up?
Yes! Thank you for telling us about RBG.
Share about
oh,
it.
okay.
Yes.
I loved that she was a person who did not like small talk.
Oh yeah.
And like, I don't enjoy small talk either. And like, but I don't want to be rude. But like, I don't care what the weather is outside. Like, I don't. And like, you know, I'm doing art fairs and I'll say hello. And I'll be like, oh, how are you? I'll be just be like, I'm fine. Like, I don't want to ask how you are because then you're just going to say fine. Like, just skip over it.
Right,
like,
right. Mm-hmm.
It's just this conversation's going nowhere. I would like to just skip it.
Perfect.
She had an interview with someone where she was given a story. I don't remember if it was in the documentary or not, where she, being a parent, kept getting calls about, you know, picking up her son or something because he's sick or causing trouble.
Yep.
And she was like, you know, he has two parents.
Oh, nice.
Why don't you give him a call?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he's at work. She's like, so am I.
Nice.
And they never called her again.
Took care of that.
Brilliant.
I love, in like her dissents and stuff, her like default pronouns when she's talking about like a person that doesn't even necessarily like exist. It's she.
Oh.
And I love, like, that's been like one of my, I'm like,
Nice.
I need to get to that where I'm like default whenever.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
it's not his or his and her.
Or
it's
guys.
her.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
I think the default should be gal. But then again, I'm a little partial to the idea of a gal who guides.
And her book, the In Her Own Words, is really good. And it's
I
also
haven't read it
available. It's available on audiobook too.
Gotcha.
And
Does she read it or no on audiobook? I don't think she would have had time.
I'm not sure she reads it, but they do when they do clips of her, like when they're quoting her dissents, they are playing the audio.
Oh, nice.
From her dissents,
because those are in public domain. Those are government government information.
Maybe there's something
nice.
like the forward or something.
Okay,
is
gotcha.
her or something.
We do have that book at the library. We also have the notorious RBG book at the library as well. So, which is a gorgeous picture book.
But no,
Sweet.
I remember we were on a Zoom call
Yes.
for another library.
It
We were
was
doing
the
something.
Directed by Women Month, and we were talking via Zoom, to another
I
library.
saw it come across my phone.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just sitting there like trying not to interrupt the thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
We had to acknowledge it. Like, we were in the middle of a live show. It was a live Gals Guide show, and we just kind of had to lean in and acknowledge that RBG just died, you know, and that it was just
Still in denial. I just
know,
realized I didn't
right?
say that part. I
Yeah.
said when she was born, but I was like,
she passed away.
yeah.
The reason why my cat is named RBG is for a variety of reasons, but the main reason is we had finished watching the documentary when Josh came home with an all black cat. And it kind of felt like it was one of her robes. You know what I mean? And the cat did end up dissenting over her own collar, and eating the internet within the first week we had her. So we're like, you know what? That little nickname spirit right there is very descending.
Got yourself a fiery little kitten.
Yes, exactly. That doesn't like an internet. We had to show it, basically the kitten, to the AT&T guy because we had AT&T at the time, and we're like, she broke it, don't charge us, please, look at how cute. And they're like, she's so cute, we won't charge you to fix the wires that she ate.
Nice strategy.
Yes, she was adorable. I mean, she would get anything.
Yeah, she's even chewed up some of the
My microphone
covers.
has little holes in it from RBG. She wants to be a podcaster, I think, you know, when she grows up. So
Tell her you need the internet for that.
yeah, it's been a long road. Sweet. But did you want to wrap us up with the RBG?
Yeah, I'm glad that Bonnie
awesomeness?
shared her extra thoughts info because
Exactly. Because she's awesome.
very much so. Well, that wraps it up for us this week. Join us next week for another cool woman of history as Gal's Guide podcast continues. Thanks for listening.
For show notes, links, and images from this week's show, visit galsguide.org. Want exclusive stuff like deleted bits and major bloopers? Become a Gal's Guide patron today. Thanks for listening.